Hello and welcome to the YouTube channel of nprugs.com. My name is Mike. I'm the moderator in the series of videos that is about handmade carpets from around the world. Welcome you to our channel. Hope you and your family are doing well. In today's video, I want to feature a type of rug that many of my subscribers and viewers to our channel, as well as visitors to our website at nprugs.com, have been asking me about, and that has to do with tribal Persian rugs known as the Qashgai carpets. And I have two different types of them right here that I thought I'm going to showcase to you that I have been getting a lot of questions about. These are the very popular in Europe, United States, pretty much throughout the Western world, and they are renowned for being made by the Qashgai. These are what is considered to be by many as one of the last largest groups of nomadic people in Iran. So you have a culture, traditions that go back centuries. And the Qashgai rugs have been pretty much today, they're still being made in the same mannerism as they were made generations ago. And people have always been fascinated, for many people who are into Persian rugs or who appreciate the hand-woven rug weaving culture. The Qashgai rugs have always had a special place for them. They have pretty much been unchanged, but there are different types of them. So in this video, what I thought I'd do is I've had a number of folks asking me about opinions about rugs that they had, which turned out to be Qashgai rugs, and they were asking me about a little bit of information about them. And so I thought I'm going to gather up a couple of pieces and I'm going to feature them in this video and try to give you a little bit of insights into these wonderful types of carpets that are, unfortunately, like a lot of things, the rug weaving culture in Iran is in a tremendous amount of decline due to economics, political, just all kinds of reasons. But there are still being a few that are still being made. And what is great about the Qashgai carpets is the fact that they have remained pretty much unchanged. So when you looking at two pieces, and like I said, I got the two right here. These are new pieces, but they are literally a testament of the past. But so to basically get started with the Qashgai rugs, we're talking about rugs that are produced by the Qashgai people, the nomadic Qashgai groups. These are found in the central Iran, and you have to forgive me, I'm not, I just typically go on Google and I try to find some suitable pictures. And the Qashgai people, they are centered in the south center Iran, as you can see there in the highlighted areas. These are the last, in what is considered to be the last largest genuine nomadic group in Iran. And very traditional, very almost fiercely independent. We have and they are also generally considered to be some of the, unfortunately, lower economic groups in Iran. So there's a lot of prejudice, and there is some, I mean, like I said, being that I was born and raised in Germany, and I don't have to tell you about how the Europeans feel about the nomads out here. And I'm blessed to be able to say that I'm proud to call I have friends who are, but pretty much wherever you go in the world, there seems to be some prejudice towards people who are living a nomadic lifestyle. Thankfully, I'm not one of those people. In fact, quite the opposite. But what is cool about the Qashgai rugs is being that they are nomadic, and these are sheep herding is a big part of their culture. What is cool about the rugs is that everything that you see in the rugs is basically homegrown. Whereas in the city rugs, for example, whether it's Tabriz, whether it's Nain, Isfahan, Qom, you have a rug center. The wool comes from one place, the dye comes from another source, the weaver is then basically putting it all together and producing a rug. Well, with the Qashgai rugs, what you see is what you get, and it's 100% homegrown. The wool does not come from other markets, it comes from their own sheep. The dyes are typically, this is one of the last remaining types of Persian rugs that even to this day they tend to be purely vegetable dyes, especially with the high-end pieces like the Kashkuli that I'm standing next to right here. The one that is further to my right, that one is most likely made with a blend of vegetable and regular industrial dye, as most Persian rugs are made. But the one right here that I'm standing on with the bluish background, you can see that one has the pure vegetable dyes, and this is a new piece, but you can see how the vegetable dyes and everything, how it fades and differently. And when I get behind the camera and I show you some of the features, so one of the questions I've had from people asking me about the Qashgai, about the rugs, is whether they are genuinely vegetable dyes. And here is a perfect example, as I'm also going to focus on when I get behind the camera. As I mentioned to you, if you watch my other videos, I'm by myself. I don't have anyone here to help me take the videos and everything. And actually, I've had someone asking me why that is, and the answer is simple. I do these videos at our family wholesale center when I'm out here in Hamburg, Germany. And so I do quite a bit of traveling between home and Colorado and here in Hamburg. And my friends, yes, they can speak English, but not good enough to where I can explain to them what it is I need them to focus the cameras on. And so instead, I just do these videos in my spare time. But one of the things that you will notice in the pure vegetable dyes, you will typically see different types. You will see fading, you will see an inconsistent true color. You'll notice the blue background, there are different shades. That is what you would expect to see, whether it is in the blues here, or you'll also see it in the orange here. And these colors are true Qashgai. I mean, this is a perfect example of what a Qashgai is all about. But this one right here that I'm literally putting my hand on, this blue piece, this is a Kashkuli. This is a higher grade than a standard Qashgai. The Qashgai right here, this orange piece, this one is made in like most of the Persian rugs nowadays, and this is the way it's been for the last few decades. It's a combination of vegetable dyes and commercial dyes, and so that allows the uniform colors. And one of the questions that I've oftentimes been asked is, and this is something that I find uniquely European and American, is people tend to make a big deal about the fact that the subject of the dyes even come up. I can honestly tell you, I have really never had Persian people even discussing the matter, because the dyes in the old days. One of the problems with the dyes is that you had a limited variety in terms of colors and everything. And oftentimes the pure vegetable dyes, while there are some great benefits. You have Mother Nature basically producing the dyes. The problem is, though, that you have the lack of choice in colors and a lack of consistency. If you, for example, were to paint your home, you're not going to want to put vegetable dyes on the walls, because within a matter of a few years, one part of the house the wall would look different than the other. So the cool thing about the commercial dyes is the fact that you have consistency. You have a selection of colors that is far greater than in the vegetable dyes. So now, having said that, I know there are two groups of people. There are those who are absolutely fanatically set on the vegetable dyes, in which case I would strongly suggest Kashkuli. This is 100% vegetable dye. The Kashkulis also tend to be a little bit of a higher grade, better quality. They're all made with a Persian knot, but they have a very dense, very firm wool. And also, unlike most Persian rugs, the Qashgai also sometimes come with a cotton foundation, or in this case, wool foundation. This is also one of the tribal sites. Generally speaking, only tribal rugs make wool foundation rugs. And so, and that's simply due to a lack of access to cotton, whereas the wool is right there. They're nomads, they got the sheep. And so you also have, you notice the designs, and this is tribal. And what I've always pointed out, what I think is absolutely fascinating, is that the designs by themselves, whether you're looking at a Persian rug or sometimes even Native American, if you look at the Far East, you look at Mongolia, you look at some of the African art. When you look at ancient arts, doesn't matter what part of the world you go to, you will oftentimes see geometric patterns. This is why I always told people, I said, you know what, there's something, I'm not about here to get into religion and all that stuff, but I'm fascinated by the fact that being that obviously my parents, my family is from the Middle East, and I settled in the United States, and I found being where I am in Colorado, we have the Pueblo people, the Native Americans, and I just find it fascinating that I can go from one part of the world to another, and I see enough similarities in the patterns where I can look in the camera and say, look, this is Persian. But I could swear to God, there are some features here that I also see in the geometric designs and everything that remind me of Native American. So just thought I'd point that out. But on both the Qashgai and the Kashkuli, these are all made by the Qashgai people. The Kashkuli pieces, they tend to be a little bit finer, higher knot count, and the Qashgai, both made of wool, sheep wool. Like I said, with the Kashkuli, you typically have cotton foundation, but one of the things that they do is the Kashkuli, they typically take the fringes at the end, and you don't have actual fringes. They take the foundation and they knot them. It's not a telltale sign that what you have is a Kashkuli, but it's almost like it's done out of tradition more than anything else. And so that is what I thought I'd just point out to you. But as far as quality and everything, these rugs they tend to be, they used to be a lot more expensive than they have become. The newer pieces now, simply because of the supply of them. The younger generation of Qashgai are starting to settle in small towns and cities. And there's simply a shift away from the rug weaving. And also we've carried the higher grade pieces. It's perfectly normal to have Qashgai rugs that have 100 knots per square inch or even less. The ones that we carry are higher grade. So I've had people also asking me how I would rate them. And the answer, in my opinion, these are all rugs that will outlive me. At the time of the video, I'm in my mid-50s. These are designed to last decades. Perfectly well suited for under furniture, traffic areas. These are solid quality, highly recommendable, especially for those of you that are looking at buying. If you want something that is basically what I call native art, you want something that was made by where the material, the workmanship, everything is done by the same group of people, you're looking at Qashgai right here. So with having said that, I'm going to get behind the camera as I always do now, and I'm going to show you some of the features and everything. But before I do, I just want to briefly point out to you that if you are new to our channel and if you like the videos about the different types of carpets, feel free to subscribe. And obviously it helps us, and it also will help you. It will give you an update when the new videos come out. Also below in the description is a link to a video. I make myself available if you have questions about a rug that you may own and you just want some answers. If I'm able to help you, feel free to watch the video below. There are tips on the type of pictures I need and everything. Feel free to email me, and then I'll get back to you and let you know. Like I said, I don't have a problem. I typically get a few emails a day. If I'm able to help, then so be it. I have no problems with that. So also feel free if you want more information about the rugs and everything, obviously just visit us at mprugs.com. And the link, everything is below in the description. But anyway, so with that out of the way, I'm going to get behind the camera. Then I'm going to come back to you later and say my final goodbyes. So we'll see you again here in just a minute. So here I'm back again from behind the camera as always, and just want to point out to you as I'm holding the camera here, you can see the difference in the dyes and the colors, especially on the blue piece on the right. You can see how I had mentioned to you. This right here, this is typical, and this is what you will see in the vegetable dyes, and you can see how the colors are starting to change and everything. And it's much more obvious, obviously, in the blue than it is also right here in the orange, even though I think you can also see it here when the discoloring, the changing of the colors. This is what you would expect to see from vegetable dyes. Then here you have the regular dyes. This is regular commercial dye. There is a blend of vegetable dye that the Iranian government, the Persian people, weavers have to incorporate that. But I always tell folks, whenever the subject of dyes come up, number one, I tell folks, to me it makes really, in my personal view, makes no difference. For those of you that want pure vegetable dyes, especially, like I said, the Kashkuli right here is a perfect example. There is not a lot of these being made. The vast majority of them tend to be Qashgai. The Kashkuli is a Qashgai that is basically like a supercharged. It's like, example, there is an M-Class BMW, and then there is the regular series BMW. or Mercedes, you have the Mercedes AMG. The Kashkuli is like a supercharged version of the Qashgai. They're both made by the very same types of weavers. You typically have cotton foundation, but there are times when you also have, in this case right here, you can see you have the wool. You have the wool foundation right here. And let's see, it's very bright in here, so I'm actually just gonna, yeah, it's very hard to see. But you typically, you know, you have, this is what you will have. Actually, let me dim down the light, and then hopefully, there you go. I think that is much, much better. So there is the wool, that is wool. That is not cotton, whereas the Kashkuli, as you can see here, has the cotton foundation, but these are completely knotted. That is very, very traditional in the Kashkuli rugs. But like I said, really nice pieces, highly recommendable, very durable. These are made with a Persian knot. These have rugs, as you can see by the pictures, when you look at them on our website. In this particular case, you're talking about rugs that have about 150 to 250 knots per square inch. And that has mainly to do with the fact that we specialize in the higher grade Qashgai rugs. We have our clients who like these finer quality pieces. And so that is what we have specialized in, although the majority of them tend to be lower knot count. But on the higher knot count, again, to me, in my opinion, it's well worth it. I'd rather pay a little bit extra and have a rug like this, because these rugs, this is tribal at its best. And this is something that a lot of people want to leave for their children, for future generations. This is the type of rug that people put in their homes who have, a typical client of mine, he built his own home. So he takes pride in what he has, and to him, these are the types of rugs he wants to have. And so I always talk about, sometimes I always mention old money versus new money. Well, if you are a hipster, you're probably not going to be too impressed by these rugs. But if you're someone who values the quality of the handmade craft, something that is passed from one generation to the next, then obviously I think you're really going to dig these types of carpets. And so here are the two examples. I just thought I'd just point them out to you guys. So now I'm going to come back to you guys and give you guys my final goodbyes. So I hope you enjoyed this video about the Qashgai rugs, and hopefully was able to answer some of the questions that you may have. Again, as I mentioned earlier, if you have any other questions, feel free to leave them in the comment section or email us at mprugs.com or visit our website. And so with this, with the ending of this video, I'm going to say my goodbyes to you. I'm going to wish you and your family the very best. I'm going to come back to you with many more videos to come. Until we see each other again, best wishes and take care. Bye-bye.